the Blue Jays Today show. Following a big series win for these Toronto Blue Jays in the Bronx, we walked into Yankee Stadium. We did what needed to be done, and we are walking away with a few more W's than those New York Yankees. Tons of Blue Jays news to break down, talking about this past week, talking about the week ahead, and MLB news as a whole. Guys, lots of stuff to talk about. I'm your host, Nicholas Playlaw.
Yeah, I'm your host, Adam Paddle. What a great week for the Blue Jays to go on the road and actually get a split. 3-3, so you gotta love to see it. And we're going back to the Rogers Center to face some competition that I like it a lot. And we're going to talk about it a little bit later about those exact matchups. But of course, like Nick just said, we got to talk about some MLB news.
Yeah.
Let's bring us into it, Nick.
Yeah, usually, guys, we like to start the show off broad and then hone in on those Blue Jays. And today we're starting off really broad because I don't know. Maybe this team could be the team that we talk about the least. You know, I was about to say, I don't know the last time that we've talked about them. Right. Literally ever, maybe. Pittsburgh Pirates. It feels like the only time their name gets brought up is in conversation with a David Bednar or Brian Reynolds trade.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
all they're good for.
That is literally it. This season, a bit of a different freaking story. They're coming off of a sweep where they swept the Reds, and granted the Reds, not great competition, but they got 15 or 16 W's, I believe, to their name. I actually can't remember.
It's 15, I believe. 15.
That is a lot of
16
freaking...
now. 16 now.
16 W's to their name. That's more than the Blue Jays. That's more than a lot of really good teams. What the hell is going on in Pittsburgh?
Well, if you take a look at what's going on, I mean, you look at the start of their, I think it's a 7-game win streak. They beat the Reds. They take all 4 from the Reds, and granted, they're the Reds. They're probably the worst team in baseball. So, but it does give some credit. Like, Pirates used to be the worst team in baseball.
And frankly, like, if you would have told me at the beginning of the season the Pittsburgh Pirates were going to have the worst record in baseball, I would have said, okay, no, I hear that. I could have totally seen that reality happen.
Absolutely. And then before this series, they swept the Rockies, who are also, let's be frank, probably one of the worst teams in baseball as well. Probably a bottom 6 or 7 team.
Yeah.
So they are capitalizing on these lower opponents, and they're separating themselves from the pack. Because if you go back even further, they split the series with the Cardinals, which isn't easy to do.
No.
You know, they take 1 from the Astros, but you know, and then they take 2 from the White Sox. So they're starting to become, in my mind, this middle of the pack team.
They take multiple against the Red Sox there, it looks like.
Take multiple against the Red Sox, but that's what I'm saying, right? Like, the Red Sox are a middle of the pack team.
Yeah.
Pirates are starting to separate themselves where you beat the guys who are supposed to be bad, and you take games away from the good teams, and you compete against the other middle of the pack teams, right? So that's why they're at such a good record right now, because they have the schedule is really favoring them. But, you know, does this mean that they're going to be an exceptional force to be dealt with?
Well,
I don't know. I can't say that just yet.
It's definitely way too early to say that they are, going to win that division or even be in conversations for it. But I don't think that anybody expected them to have 16 W's at this point. No. When we look over at their squad, I mean, offensively speaking, Brian Reynolds, good. Jack Sawinski, you know, didn't really even know that much about this guy, but he is popping off and going nuts right now. Andrew McCutchen having a little bit of a resurgence, so maybe that's what he needed to go back to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
You know, you got Connor and Joe. Then you got a bunch of these other guys who I'm not even super familiar with, but it doesn't look like I would look at the Toronto Blue Jays line. It might be like I think that we're better than that.
Oh, 100%.
It's actually, from what I've heard, the pitching that is doing pretty good.
That's what's messed up. I mean, you looked at, I think in the last 7-game win streak that they're on currently, they've allowed 15 runs. That's just over 2 earned runs allowed per game, or not even earned runs, just runs total. And yeah, you look at it, you got Mitch Keller. If you look at all these innings here, Mitch Keller, pretty good. Vince Velasquez, that's a name that we remember, pretty good. Rich Hill, I mean, we can forget about him, but this guy, who is this dude?
No idea.
Oviedo? He's doing well. And
No
then
idea.
and then I own this guy in fantasy, but Bednar's just been absolutely shut down and closing out these close games. So you're getting a lot of good pitching when you need it, man.
Yeah.
And that's the recipe.
And I would imagine we're going to get into bullpen stats later, but I would imagine that the Pirates bullpen is actually doing work right now.
Yeah.
Because, again, they are in these close games, and they're winning them, you know, like 4-2 or 3-2 or something like that. Yeah, so this is going down. So I think I just saw them right there. So even though it says 19th, that actually means that they're rank 11.
Yeah.
So they're doing pretty solid.
They're 11th.
Doing pretty solid.
Yeah, they're 11th, and that's what you're expecting, right? Like that's pretty darn good. Now, to kind of cap off this little conversation, do you think they have a chance for a wild card this year potentially?
No, but I do think that they have a chance. Yeah, no. But I do think that they have a chance for 500, and that would be phenomenal.
That's a win.
If you're the Pittsburgh Pirates. I think if the Pittsburgh Pirates can have a season like the Baltimore Orioles had last year,
100%.
then that is a total win. If you're a fan of Pittsburgh, you take that 10 times out of 10, and that's the year that then propels you to go into free agency, to make some smart moves, and to invigorate your fan base, and then do what the Baltimore Orioles are doing right now, which is come back and put on a show.
Dude, and it's funny, Baltimore Orioles didn't even go and get anybody, but they have a chance to do that, and I think the Pirates franchise is good enough to recognize that. They're a good, historic franchise. When they see they're coming out of this dark spell they've been in the last few years, they're going to capitalize on it. Just take that next step. No one's expecting anything from you. Just get exciting.
Yeah.
Connor Joe, pop off. McCutcheon, pop off. Ryan Reynolds, maybe you're going to stick with the team. I don't know. Pop off, King. Like, let's see what they can do.
Literally.
I'm excited.
Hey, this is their record right now, the Pittsburgh Pirates record. This is one of those things that might stop a Brian Reynolds trade.
Exactly.
Obviously, you need to get the contract right. Everything needs to go right there. But everyone was walking into this season just assuming that Brian Reynolds was absolutely going to get traded. If they're in the conversation, to maybe even win the division for crying out loud, or like even be in a wild card race, which I'm not saying that they're going to be in, but if they are, Brian Reynolds ain't going anywhere, dude. They're buying at that point.
No, I mean, you still got a lot of years left on Reynolds. Like, hell yeah, build around him. I think that's what they should have done anyways, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, do they give him a more respectable contract? Probably not. And they'll probably never trade him. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to see that from it's a good comparison. They are exactly like the Baltimore Orioles, and I love that.
Yeah. Let's talk about the AL East a little bit, everybody. It's impossible right now to look at the American League, to look at where the Toronto Blue Jays are at, and really talk about it intelligently without also acknowledging what's going on around us with the Baltimore Orioles, and maybe even more specifically, the Tampa Bay Rays. I feel like every single Blue Jays Today show that we've done, we've had to touch on it.
Yeah.
I'm sick. I'm tired of it. I'm exhausted and fatigued of talking about the Tampa Bay Rays, but they just keep freaking winning. There's nothing that we can do about it, guys. They just keep winning.
And they keep winning at home. They're 13-0 at home. They walked off the White Sox last night. They beat them today. It's looking like they're a dominant team. And hey, give the Blue Jays some credit. We handed them two L's.
We did.
So like we can beat them if we're talking about Blue Jays perspective on the Blue Jays Today show. But when you're trying to secure first place in the division, like look, we all get to face all these worse teams around the league, like other divisions, because AL East, just proven record-wise against other teams in other divisions, have the best record. So they're taking advantage of it. Now we've got to take advantage of it. We have a few games coming up soon that we definitely got to take advantage of.
This is what I'm worried about. And listen up, Blue Jays fans. This is a real thing. What I'm concerned about when we are talking about the Tampa Bay Rays, this is a big problem, guys. Last year, the New York Yankees, they started out incredibly hot. They were so good. They got such a big in April, in May, and then they cooled off. But it didn't matter because by mid-season, the division, it was already decided.
I know.
It was already decided, and that's what I'm worried about Tampa Bay. If they come out and they continue to dominate in April, in May, I don't want to walk into June or July and just kind of give over the division just knowing it's like we're just fighting for a wild card right now. I don't want that. Someone needs to slow them down.
I mean, we definitely tried. We tried, guys. We actually tried. We did our best effort to slow them down, but they've got to have a few games coming up soon. You got to imagine. We got their schedule right here. Yeah, they've got the Houston Astros. They've got a big series there. They've already faced the White Sox. They dominated them, so they're probably going to handle them again. The Pirates, who are hot, but let's be honest, they're probably going to take care of the Pirates. So they've still got games where they can win. But then they got the Yankees, and they got the Orioles, and they got the Yankees again, the Mets, the Brewers, the Blue Jays. This is where we should see the Tampa Bay Rays fall a little bit back to earth. And if they don't, then they're legit. And they're a World Series contender, no doubt about it.
I'll tell you right now, this is why they're not going to fall back to earth in any of that.
Okay, let's hear it.
Look at where they're playing. Look at where they're playing in that entire stretch.
Where are they playing?
That entire stretch.
Where are they playing?
At home. Well, most of it is at home.
Most of it, yeah.
Most of it is at home.
Here's the thing. I know they have the whole Tropicana record and everything, but like, you're still going up against good teams. We went to Yankee Stadium and beat them. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's still an opportunity for them to fall back to earth against all these great teams.
I hope so, man. I hope so. Then in this next section right here, in this next month, if Tampa Bay does not start losing games to all of these competitive ball clubs, we are going to be in for a world of hurt, people. Because if they can get through that stretch with, a positive record out of all of that, then the entire narrative of Tampa Bay, they're only beating easy teams, that's gone out the window, and we're fighting for wild card at this point, boys. I mean, because that's it.
I felt like we were always fighting for a wild card. It just sucks that I didn't think it'd be the Tampa Bay Rays. Now we're fighting with the Yankees.
Yeah, and now Baltimore's part of this. And it's at what point do we actually need to look at Baltimore and be like, wow, they are really legit? Because I'm still skeptical. But they're better than us right now, So it's like, at what point do we start saying that? And you look at the other teams, right? The Guardians, they're better than 11-11. They're better. They're going to be better than 11-11. I think the White Sox could be toasted. Detroit toasted, but Seattle, they're better than what they're doing.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, and I actually I'm wondering, it could be early. Obviously, it is early, obviously, but I wonder if you're going to see at the end of the year, and I'm really curious with the new schedule change of facing our own division less and facing other teams more. Is that going to be an impact? We know Guardians are a 90-win team against their own division a lot, and then we face them. They face a lot less AL Central, which is not that good of a division in itself. They face a lot less, and they're facing more competitive teams like the AL East. Is that going to be? Are they not going to be a 90-win team? Are they going to be an 88-win team?
It's an interesting theory, man. Considering the fact that yes, they do play less. Or less Royals, less Tigers, less White Sox at this point. They won't face them as much. But I just don't know if I buy into that whole narrative because there's other bad divisions as well, right? I just think that the AL East is one of the hardest ones. Yeah. But there are other bad divisions out there, right? Okay, so you don't play the, Royals that much, but now you're playing the Nationals more, right? It trades off.
Yeah, because I think every team in the AL will face every team in the NL for one series at least. Every only one. Either you're there or they're here. Whereas in here, I believe you face every team at home and away in the AL. So you will get double dosage of AL East action.
Okay, I mean, maybe we'll see then. I mean, so an additional series basically is what it boils down to.
We'll see. We'll see if it adds up in the end of the day.
It's possible, man. It is possible. But either way, somebody needs to slow down Tampa Bay because I do not want to be just chasing after wild card and just giving them over the division come June. Let's talk about the Blue Jays now and transition into what we were doing right and what we were doing wrong from this past week. First thing that is on everybody's mind, because we're getting flashbacks of 2020, we're getting flashbacks of 2021. Nobody wants to go back there. Let's talk bullpen.
Yeah.
Bullpen this past week has been showing some issues, some problems, folks, and we have the statistics to back it up. This is the bullpen stats for the season. As you can see, that is Toronto with a 4.35 ERA, and you're seeing that they're 10th right now. That's
worse.
not 10th. 10th
in
worst.
ERA.
So, not great.
No. And it is unfortunate. I mean, we saw a lot of blow-ups this week. We saw Zach Pop, who everyone was getting in his corner. We saw Adam Simber he gave up one today even. We gave up some earlier. Jimmy Garcia getting blown up, blowing a game. Jordan Romano blowing a game. We're seeing a lot of our reliable guys not show up. Now, is it too early to hit the panic button? I don't think so. I really don't think so. You got to give these guys a little bit more time. They have great track records, right? If we could just stick with them, we can go through these dark times.
Sorry, I misunderstood you there. Are you saying that it's too early to hit the panic button, or
it's not too early? No, don't hit the panic button.
Don't hit the panic button.
Okay, yeah. No, it's too early right now in the season to be hitting any panic button. You know what I mean? Because it's just going to take time. I mean, if we go look over here at their stats, sure, it's not pretty. It's not pretty at all. Even Adam Simber's starting to get blown up a bit. Jimmy Garcia, the 720, right? It's not cute. The only reliable guy has been Tim Meza and Eric Swanson, really, in our bullpen. And so does that worry you? I'm not worried. Is that worrying you a little bit?
Yeah, it does worry me because at the end of the day, this is not a new story. It's not a new thing, right? And I know, sure, you can look at some of these guys in their careers, and you're talking about Jimmy Garcia. Yeah, he's been good, but he's also been bad. Right? You look at Adam Simber.
Bad couple stretches.
Exactly. Yeah. But, I mean, he's had a bad few seasons. Remember when we signed him, we were like, oh, why did we get this 4 ERA guy, right? He's had bad parts of his career as well, right? And we see bullpen arms fluctuate up and down, right? His best year by far was last year. Yeah. Other than that, I mean, kind of a mid-tier guy.
Yeah, like 2019 he was decent. Yeah, 2021 when he was moving around was not good. He actually started out. I remember he started out pretty good. Yeah, with Miami, and then he just did not do well in Houston. But that's the thing about bullpens. Like, it was one of those things where you just have to get the characters.
Exactly.
You have to get the characters.
But that is
do we have the characters?
That's why I think you could make an argument for cause for concern, because that is the thing about bullpen where they fluctuate all the time.
Mm-hmm.
He was having a great year last year.
Mm-hmm.
Is Jimmy Garcia not having a good year this year? And if he's not having a good year this year, what do we do with him? What's his role, right? Eric Swanson looks absolutely locked in, so that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Simber had a great year last year. And I think he had a pretty good year before that too.
Yeah.
But he wasn't always that good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So is this one of his down years? I do think it's too early, considering he's only pitched 10 innings, to say assuredly that this is going to be a bad season. But considering the past history that the Blue Jays have had with bullpens, for some reason we just can't ever seem to get this right. When one guy's doing well, another guy starts to do bad, and when one guy starts to do good and we start buying in on him, then he decides to do bad again, right? So I just think that there's a lot of raw feelings being brought up right now by looking at these guys, thinking that we had this problem sorted, and now it's rearing its ugly head again.
Well, I'm gonna chalk this up as a bad bullpen stretch. Like we're 3.5 weeks into the season. You know, it's just a bad stretch. You know, we've had months in the years before where we were really great. You know, it's like the other shoe drops, right? Mm-hmm. We were really, really great, then we were really, really bad. This one is a bad month.
So my question to you then is, moving forward, let's say that we have a few. We're in a close game right now. We got to get through 3 innings of work. We're in a close game right now. Does Jimmy Garcia come out?
Right now, I would say no. Well, it depends on the matchups, too, because, like, clearly you got Meza who's doing well. You got Swanson and then Romano. For me, it's Swanson-Romano is 8-9. That's locked in.
I think, that should be what it is, even though they haven't been doing that. But that should be what it is.
But Jimmy, for right now, should still be cycling in that 7 role. In that 7th inning role. Right. He should be. Because we have to trust him. We're only going off of last year, right?
you are saying like the power rankings of bullpen hasn't changed him. What about Anthony Bass?
Because here's the thing. Exactly. He's still cycling in that, like, he's definitely dropped down because he's off to a colder start. But they're cycling in. Because here's the thing. Who else are you going to put there? I mean, you were arguing for Zach Pop today. Zach Pop, but then he got blown up. Right?
So that's what I mean, though. So he's down for you now.
Here's the thing. The whole bullpen situation is a cycling. It's who's hot now. It's not like that's what we got to play it as. If everyone's getting off to bad starts, it's who's hot now. Who's hot now? Swanson. And then Romano, you're trusting. He's always going to be the closer. They're never going to change that unless he absolutely gets blown up like more than halfway through the season. He's just awful. But it's Swanson, Romano.
But I think that's what I'm saying, though, because you want Jimmy Garcia there, and he hasn't been hot.
I know.
So that's why I'm asking. Like, at what point do you demote him? Right?
Whenever another guy is hotter. It's whoever is hotter. When another guy's hotter, he gets demoted. That's the way it's being played right now.
Well, it sucks for the Jays because currently there is really only 2 guys who have been hot and who have been consistent. And even Jordan Romano is having his fair share of issues. So
he got served up an L.
At this point, we're not saying hit the panic button yet, but if this does continue, then watch for us to be in it on trade deadline and going after some pieces, because we might need to handle that.
We definitely need something more.
The good thing about the Toronto Blue Jays in this past week is that even though the bullpen started to screw it all up again, and wow, isn't this always the story? When one thing does good, the other thing does bad. The starters started to turn it around.
I know.
And that's what you needed, because in the first few weeks of the season, the bullpen was kind of carrying the Blue Jays, because the starting pitchers were not good. They would come out, they would leave in the 5th, and then the bullpen would kind of keep us in this game, and then we could get this comeback W. But this week, the starters started to pick it up, which is positive. Kikuchi looking like a different man. Gosman, great bounce back. Manoah, exceptional bounce back, right? So, I mean, even though the bullpen is struggling, I like what I saw from the starters this week.
Yeah, we definitely needed it, because I just took a peek there, and like overall this season, the starters are 9th worst, so we're 21st in baseball in starter ERA.
Ouch.
So we're a bottom 10 team, bro.
Yeah.
We're a bottom 10 team in pitching, which is not a recipe for a World Series contender. No. So we got to hope it turns around, but this was a great start. I'm actually feeling positive about the starters because Manoah's looking like he's locking in. All of his pitches were hitting the mark. The sinker was working. The two-seam was working. The slider was mint vintage Manoah slider. Gosman today, he absolutely had it. Everything was working. The splitter, the fastball, the changeup, the slide, everything was working together in concession to get hitters off balance, throw off their timing, and with 11 strikeouts, absolutely. And I'm buying in, and I'm drinking the Kikuchi juice. You know, Barrios had a great outing. I'm not buying it as much.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll take a sample. Of Barrios.
Yeah, you know, it's good to see anyways that Barrios can pitch
exactly,
occasionally, right? It's not always going to be a complete blow up. Occasionally he will put up a very quality start. And I see some people in here talking about Chris Bassett and absolutely like goes without saying, he's been very consistent. He's been exactly what the Blue Jays have paid for, other than the first start, which can be thrown in the trash can. Everything has been good up until that point. So that's really good, guys. Even though the Jays bullpen is kind of meh right now, the starters are picking it up. Let's do a little bit of a, I guess, injury update right here. We saw yesterday Santiago Espinal just get drilled, bro.
Yeah, it was a 97, I believe it was, from Garrett Cole up in on the wrist.
That
and
would hurt. It
was scary. That hand was limp. He went to his knees, and he was taken out of the game for our favorite player, Cavan Biggio. We got some good news, though. He did have a contusion. He had a bruise in his wrist, but the x-rays, like you're seeing here, they came back negative. So obviously it's going to be a little bit of a recovery time. But that's the thing about the Blue Jays right now. We have so many second basemen that, like, this kind of injury isn't going to be detrimental to the team. It's not like it's a Vladdy thing where now you have to play belt every day at first. You can slide in someone right now like Whit Merrifield, who's just absolutely hot as hell right now.
Right.
And obviously he's going to get the start over Cavan Biggio because he's not.
There was one thing that you said in there that I disagree with, and that is we have so many second basemen. We only have one second baseman. We only have
I know
one.
You're going
We only have one second baseman. If the determination of what is a second baseman is somebody who can participate at the major league level and occasionally provide value, then we only have one second baseman. Whit Merrifield is showing up and proving that he is a valuable asset to the Toronto Blue Jays right now. I think the guy is on like a 16-17 game on base streak. Something ridiculous like that. So just exceptional out of the bottom of the lineup. But we only have one second baseman. Because the other guy that Adam's referring to is Cavan Biggio, and he is not even remotely close to what a major league player, second baseman, whatever, should look like.
Yeah.
We have been trying for years to be in Biggio's court and to really hope the best for him.
I hope he breaks out every year. I hope this is the year. I hope this is it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm out.
We can't lie to ourselves anymore.
I can't do it. I hear the comments. They're all saying, guys, Biggio, we're root for him. Like, he's a good lefty bat. He can play multiple positions. Hell, I made a video in the offseason talking about how excited I am for a utility player like Cavan Biggio. And that now that he's, like, understanding his role as a bench utility guy, he'll do much better. Was I ever wrong? And this isn't even an overreaction at this point because it's early. We've been seeing this kind of performance. A 13 OPS plus? Let me just zoom in on that for y'all. A 13. It's gone now. But right there, 13 OPS plus. You are batting 111. You have a negative 0.2 WAR. Like Nick's saying, you shouldn't be a major leaguer anymore. It's over, Cavan.
At least not for us, man. I mean, I think that Cavan Biggio needs a change of scenery. He needs a change. It's not working with the Toronto Blue Jays. We can all agree on that. It's just not working. I want the best for you, bro. Literally, we really want you to do good. But you're 28 right now. You're 28 years old. Think about that.
28.
He's 28.
Oh my God.
Right? And we've watched this guy for 4 seasons now. What? It's not happening. It's not working. And the one thing that we could always hold on to and say that he has is his eyeball, but I don't think it's even there anymore. Because we watch him consistently look at strikes in the zone. He's too selective at this point.
He's way too selective.
Where it's like, that's a strike. You have to swing.
Yeah.
You have to swing. And when we look at the pitches that he can hit, we look down and see the pitches that he can hit.
Right here.
When we look at the pitches that he can hit, the answer is none.
None.
The fastball, he's batting 59. 59. Not even 159 or 250. I'm saying 59. There's a 0 in front of that number, right? 0 on the sinker and the slider. The changeup, he's batting 250. That's something.
Small sample size.
0 on the curveball, and he's batting 1,000 on the sweeper, which he's had 1 plate appearance again. So he's got 1 hit off of it.
Yeah.
Guys, we could not talk about this enough, but we need to do something about this. Barger, sure.
Barger. Let's go.
Do it.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. That's a whole nother topic because, like, you're giving Barger Biggio's role, which is a waste. I wouldn't want to waste Barger's potential unless he's going to play every other day or maybe every day. Like, that's what I want. I hear what you're saying, but, like, maybe we just got to let him die on the bench. Like, waste away on the bench until we need someone like a Barger.
I don't think so, man. I think, honestly, you know what? I think really what would be best for both people is to send Cavan Biggio down and get Barger up. And, I mean, Barger, we don't need to rely on him. I disagree with what you're saying because I think that you put him into a position where he's playing every single day. That's a lot of pressure for a young player. We're saying we don't need to rely on you. We're going to put you in the lineup. Because we have Whit Merrifield.
How about this? Later in the season, because if you bring him up early, you're stunting a little bit of his playing time. Like, he's got to get playing time.
I have not looked at what Barger's been doing necessarily in the minors. But okay, fine. Then Otto Lopez. I don't care. That's
exactly right here in Potter saying Otto Lopez. Sure. Otto Lopez and Matthew Strong. That's an easy win.
Yeah, sure, do it. And I think it might even help Cavan Biggio to go down to the minors
and get more playing time.
Totally, get more playing time. Go to the minors. Figure your shit out, because it's not helping him when he's hitting 100. That's not good for anyone. It's not helping the Blue Jays. It's not helping his confidence. This is not something that he needs right now, man. So if you actually want him to do well, you send him down and you bring someone up who maybe can provide value. Dude. Otto Lopez can run really fast.
Yes, Otto Lopez can do exactly what Cavan Biggio does and may even do it better. He could play the outfield. He could play second. He could play shortstop. He could play third. He could play all over. He can't play first, though. We know that. But here's the thing. You have Belt. He could play first, right? You put him over there. So screw it. Cavan Biggio, I'm calling for a AAA assignment.
The experiment is over, and I think it's best for Biggio if he goes to AAA, figures his stuff out. Best for the Blue Jays, and yeah, man, I'm just so thankful that we do have Whit Merrifield doing as well as he is. Because if he wasn't, holy crap, man, we would be in rough shape right now.
We would be. Well,
let's move on.
Let's move on. Let's get to the next part of this video, guys. We had a good week. A good week on the road. We went 3-3, and there were some good performances, okay? The bats, not so much. We're talking about Whit Merrifield, though. He's the one standout guy for me this week. He actually didn't play that much. He only had 14 ABs, but he got 6 hits in those 14 ABs. 2 runs, an RBI, a double. You saw him come up quite a lot in situations where we needed him, but everybody else just kind of chugging along. Matt Chapman, though, 2 home runs. Right? That was pretty nice. A double, 5 for 22.
The power's still there.
Hopefully
this is like one of those down weeks where it's like, okay, we weren't getting on base as much, we weren't hitting as much, but when we were hitting, we were driving them deep.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that a lot in this series, especially in the second game. Like, the offense just wasn't coming up clutch. Actually, that's another thing. Like, we're not gonna get too deep into it because I don't have the stats, but like, the runners in scoring position, bro.
That's its own separate video.
That's its own. We gotta save that for another one.
That's its own separate video because it is definitely questionable, concerning, and something that needs to be addressed. These are, like, we've always talked about it forever, but Blue Jays are dealing with clutch issues.
Yeah.
I thought that would be over this year. So far, no. It hasn't been good. We're not going to go into it any further, but it's been bad.
But I'm hoping it goes better because we've seen it in the past. We've seen it get better in the past.
Just literally from a statistical standpoint, how are we, like, one of the best in hitting, but we are so bad at when there's runners on?
I don't know. I have no clue. Really don't know. Don't know. But we had some okay performances for our bats. Not so good, not so great. But the big thing, like we said, is the pitching. And I think that will lead us directly into our next segment, Nick.
Yeah. It is now time, everybody, to crown the Jay of the Week.
Yes, that's right. The Jay of the Week. A good second up, good runner-up is Whit Merrifield. Not enough playing time, for sure. But we got to look at that starting pitching, folks, and there were some good performances. And I think this guy definitely needed a Jay of the Week. That is Mr. Alek Manoah.
Yeah. Phenomenal start, and it really is too bad that he didn't walk away with the W. Nothing that he could have done about it. He did everything in his power to give his team an opportunity to win. offensively speaking, it was tough sledding against Garrett Cole and the best of the Yankees bullpen. So I understand why they weren't capable of putting up runs, but still something that we need to improve on. When your starter gives you 7 innings scoreless, you're supposed to win that game.
That's it. And Mike F saying Barrios/Kikuchi, I think from their standpoint, they deserve a reward on their own level.
They're picking up the slack.
They're picking up the slack for sure. But here's the thing, you just can't beat 7 innings scoreless.
Yeah.
Gosman did it in this last game today, but he did start off the week with a big blowout.
We would have given it to Kevin Gosman, but on Monday the dude got absolutely railed, so
we can't really. But that was a great outing.
100%, dude. But either way, I think a lot of Blue Jays fans needed to see Alek Manoah come out and dominate like this. I think Alek Manoah needed to see it as well.
Yes.
And it was just so phenomenal finally seeing his pitches located where he wants to go. Hopefully we can build upon this and continue moving forward.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of moving forward, we got to move forward. We got to move on from all these performances and focus on the future. We're getting right back into it, guys, because tomorrow we are going back to Toronto and we're going to be taking on the Chicago White Sox in a 3-game series.
And they're not good right now.
Dude, they're 7-15. They are really, really bad.
They're not good right now.
No, they're horrible. They're horrible. I'm pulling up the Blue Jays schedule right now so y'all can take a look. But this is a week, and I'm going to preface this. This is a week where we should grab some W's. We had a tough road trip with arguably two of the best AL teams right now.
Well, when you think about it, right, we went 3-3 on the road against the ALCS.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Against the ALCS teams.
That's tough to do, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's where you want to be if you want to be a competitive ball team. But now we're back at home. We have 3 games against a squad that is not good right now. They are in the sunken place. Things are going very badly. And even, can you scroll down to the Mariners for me? I think they're kind of doing.
They're 10-11.
They're just
mitting.
They're mitting it. They're mitting it up right now. They should be better than that, and I think that they will eventually. But not this weekend, baby.
Not this weekend.
Not this weekend.
Let's take a look at these pitching matchups because I think we got some favorable ones in here. Starting off on Monday against the White Sox, we've got Chris Bassett up against Lance Lynn, who Lance Lynn is a 7.59 ERA.
Ooh.
So he's off to a really bad start. Not looking like Lance Lynn of like former Cy Young votes. But we know Bassett. He's coming off a scoreless outing. Amazing job. And then let me run through it, and then we'll talk about the whole thing in general. Then on Tuesday, we got Barrios coming off 2 great outings. 6.23 ERA up against Mike Clevenger. He's doing well, though. 3.26 ERA for his White Sox. He's the one bright spot in that rotation. Then you got Yusei Kikuchi back at it for the final game at 107. Mark that, guys, 107. So if you're at work, watch the game. He's going to be up against Michael Kopech with a 6.97 ERA. He's off to a rough start. Nick, your thoughts? 3-game series.
This definitely feels like a 2-1 for me. This feels like a strong 2-1. And when I'm looking through this schedule here on starting pitching, now it's not all based on pitchers ERA and everything, but it really feels like we dominate in game 1, we're not dominating in game 2, and then we're dominating in game 3 again, just on a pitching standpoint, right? So I feel like for me, we win game 1, we lose game 2, we win game 3.
Yeah, for me, honestly, it could go either way because you're right. Like, Barrios, I think he's going to do well again. I think Kikuchi's going to do. I think all 3 of these guys are going to give us a chance to win. For me, it comes up with the offense, man. The runners in scoring position. Can that offense capitalize today? Is the bullpen going to lock it down today? One of these games, they're not going to.
Probably, yeah.
I don't know which one, but I do think we should take 2. I think that's pretty much almost a lock.
Yeah.
We should take 2 out of 3.
Yeah, if you lose this series, like, that's very questionable, and I even think, like, throwing it into the universe, there is sweet potential with this.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, they're 7-15, right?
Yeah,
so, like, they are definitely not where they need to be. They're in a bad spot. They're on the road in the Rogers Center. It is possible. We're staying conservative by just winning 2 here.
Absolutely. And then we take a day off on Thursday, and then we're going and facing, or we're not going anywhere. We're staying. Mariners got to come here. They're going to take on the Blue Jays, and we're going to take them on. And we've got some, again, this is definitely the best 3 in our rotation, arguably. We have Manoah. He's doing well. We all know what he's won Shade of the Week. He's doing great. He's going to be going up against Luis Castillo, though, who's phenomenal.
Yeah, he's top tier.
Phenomenal. 1.52 ERA to start the season. And then on Saturday, we got Kevin Gosman for Blue Jays Sesame Street Day. He's been phenomenal. He's going up against Flexen, who's got a 7.91 ERA, and I put an asterisk because he's pitching today, so that might change.
Okay.
And then Chris Bassett, he'll be finishing off on Sunday, 540, but we know how good he's been as of late, up against Logan Gilbert. We know how good he is. 3.57 ERA.
Yeah,
This is a little bit tougher.
This is absolutely, definitely tougher for sure, and we know that the Seattle Mariners, they have a potent offense. If they start clicking, this is a team that should win 90 games. They're off to a little bit of a rocky start, but their rocky start is still 500. So it's going to be difficult. I still think that being at home, this is a 2-1 for me. Maybe if we were in Seattle, I might flip it and say, well, they win 2, we lose 1, or we won 1. But because we're at the Rogers Center, this feels like we should be winning 2. Good teams win more when they're at home.
And I got to agree with you. And I just want to paint a picture here as well. Like, this looks awfully like the wild card series matchup minus Robbie Ray. You know, you have Gilbert Castillo, like Robbie Ray would be in that 2 spot, but you know, we would have Manoah Gosman. Bassett obviously we didn't have last year, but you know, that this seems awfully like a little bit of a rematch. So I just want everyone to just note that there's gonna be definitely some adrenaline from the boys.
Oscar Hernandez in the
Hernandez
house
is coming back. There's gonna be a tribute to him.
Yeah,
that's gonna be really cool. So I think I could see it go, honestly, because of that. When I think about the wild card series, I could see it going either way. But my gut right now, based on the pitchers' performances last week and based on how the Mariners are doing, I gotta give it to the Blue Jays. We're gonna take 2 of 3. Don't know which ones yet, because again, it's gonna be down to the offense, down to the bullpen. That's my focus now. Offense, bullpen. We go 4-2 on the week. That would make us 17-11. That's a good place to be at in the early going.
That'd be a solid place to be for sure, man. And I think it is absolutely more than achievable. I think that anything less than 4-2, when you're at home against, you know, both right now 2 teams that are under 500.
Exactly.
That's not good. That's not good. So 4-2 is where you need to be living. Anything better than that, freaking love it. Let's move on, team.
Oh, yes. Let's move on.
Is it time to okay.
It is almost time. But this segment's brought to you by our sponsor. We got to shout them out before because we're about to do some bets on the Blue Jays this week, and you are too. I hope you guys are participating. But this segment's brought to you by Betway. Time for a quick shout out to Betway. Betway is the best place to make all of your sports bets on all of your favorite teams. Betway is also in collaboration with iGaming Ontario. Must be 19 years older to participate. And guys, please bet responsibly. Now, back to the content.
The spinning fortune, baseball, colorful, future determining, stat analyzing, and it's a wheel that we spin every week.
It is a wheel, everybody, that we spin every week. There you go. Now you guys can see it, folks. You've been following along with this channel, with this show for a while. You know that every single week on Sunday at this time, we spin this freaking wheel and we bet on these Toronto Blue Jays players and who they are facing. Last week, it was my week. I walked away with a few W's. Score right now is 5-3 in the early goings. But, I mean, that's not a big lead at all. One good week from you, and you're in the lead again.
We're back. I mean, if you guys have been if you guys are OGs, and you've been with us the last 2 years, you know, Nick won one, I won the second one, but, you know, they both start off the same way. The person who lost that season started off real hot. And then it just flipped halfway through, so we'll see.
It's spoiler alert to all of you guys. This is a lot of luck involved.
For real.
So let's get into it. It is your week this week, so I will spin for you. First category, what's it gonna be?
And guys, you gotta comment down below too. What would you pick for this category? And it's gonna be Caper 9.
I really wanted it to be J Killer, honestly.
I really
wanted it to be J. It's such a fun.
I love J Killer.
It's the only category. Honestly, if we should remake this in some way where we get 1 or 2 more categories where we can choose like the opposing teams.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Because I like choose. Because I never think about it.
It is fun.
So I'm gonna pull up right here just on our, because you guys won't be able to see it because it'll kind of cut out the whole vibe. But I'm gonna pull up the pitching for our team. And find out who actually is doing a good K per 9 because I have no clue.
Just so you guys know, we decided, I think it was a season ago, we decided relievers are not allowed.
Can't do it.
Whenever we got to this one, whoever picked Romano would just win, and it was dumb. So we're only going off of starting pitchers. So
right now, a good K per 9 is Cavan Biggio. He did put up today. I am gonna pick twice. Cavan Biggio. And he's going to be up against He's going to be up against the Mariners. I know they got a lot of swing and miss in their lineup. Chris Bassett's going twice. I'm gonna let you go with this one, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, you can go ahead with it.
Okay, well, I'm obviously gonna pick Kevin Gausman.
Pick Kevin Gausman. Pick Kevin Gausman.
Wow.
For me, it's like he had a really good strikeout this game, but before that, he was not striking out that many. Like he was like under 9. So for me, it's like I don't know.
I'm taking Gausman.
You
baby.
take it.
I think that's solid.
You take it. I'm gonna go.
That's Manoah.
Oh shit, my bad. Sorry guys, my brain's in two places because I think I was thinking in my head I was gonna pick Manoah, but I don't think I'm gonna. I think I'm gonna go with a little risky one right here. I think I'm gonna go with. I feel like I want to go with Jose Barrios. His strikeout numbers have been really phenomenal. Manoah does not strike out guys a lot.
No, he doesn't.
Neither does Chris Bassett. So I'm going to go with Jose Barrios and be comfortable because he's going up against those White Sox.
Yeah.
Which offense has not been that good.
No, their offense has been doo-doo to say the least,
Yeah.
man. We've seen some positive K/9 outings from Jose Barrios in the past for sure. So.
Yeah, exactly. Even when he's struggling, he gets good K/9. But now that he's doing well, I'm gonna take a chance. I'm gonna take my chance.
Here we go. Next category. You will...
Oh, Yusei. We should have picked Yusei.
I was actually, if you were to go first, I was going to pick Yusei.
Oh,
next.
wow,
I was
wow.
going to pick Yusei over Barrios.
Oh, wow.
Wow, we
RBI.
just avoided the bonus player.
Okay,
Thank goodness.
RBI. This one, I know who I'm gonna go here. I mean, it's pretty obvious at this point. I gotta go with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at this point.
Interesting.
He had 5 RBIs last week, the most on the team, and yeah, he's got the most.
Okay.
You know?
I think I'm gonna not do that.
Well, you can't do Vladdy.
No, I can't do Vladdy. I mean,
Chapman.
it feels like Chapman's the way to go for me.
Yeah.
It really does feel like Matt Chapman is the way to go. Batting 5th. He's solid.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take Matt Chapman.
He had he had 2. That's the thing. He had 2 homers, but both RBIs were just him.
Yeah.
You know, so you take that.
I think we can take that. Yeah, he could have a great week and really put up this week. So I'm
Yeah.
going Matty Ice.
All right, go for it. Go for it. I'm taking a risk. Springer saying
Hell
Sophie.
no. Hell
Never,
no,
Sophie,
dude.
never.
Springer is in the sunken place right now. Things are not going well. And
Worst Jay.
Worst Jay. I do love this
shit.
one too.
This one is
actually,
fun.
this one is pretty fun, and you will go first with this
Ah,
one.
see, now the pitchers are doing well.
Yeah, and now to fill you guys in, if he picks a pitcher, I have to pick a pitcher. If he picks a batter, I have to pick a batter. And if he does pick a batter, they need at least 15 at bats.
Okay.
I think.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm actually gonna go with the batter here.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with George Springer.
Yeah, no, I mean that's more than reasonable, man. George Springer has
there.
sucked donkey balls.
Because it's gotta be 15 AB, so who gets it? You got the obviously top 3 guys you're not gonna pick. And then you've got Varsho.
Mm-hmm.
Whit Merrifield probably gonna get more playing time. Kirk.
Can we take a look? So Springer's locked in for you. Can we just take a look at this past week? How many at bats did Cavan Biggio get?
Oh God, not too many. I gotta imagine. Last 7 days, he got 11.
Last 7. That's not enough.
Not enough.
That's not enough. Okay, so based on
Danny Bell, he got 13. So you're looking at top
I'd
guys.
have to take a risk if I'm going with those guys, and
Yeah.
I feel like that's not super duper fair. Damn it! I really wanted to pick Biggio.
I know he's a clear
Really
one,
wanted
but
to take Biggio.
so I know what everyone's saying Biggio is always the worst. Jay, he is, but he has that 15 ABs in 6 games.
Yeah, and honestly, maybe we can make it a rule that it's like it has to have been this past week too.
Yeah.
Because that's not fair. Because I can't punt the category and just be like, Nathan
exactly.
Lucas or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So like,
well, based on this past week, and I think this is probably where I have to go. It's probably got to be Dalton Varsho.
that's what I was thinking.
You know,
yeah,
it's probably got to be Dalton Varsho because, he just hasn't been as solid as he started.
Yeah.
He had a decent game today with the home run, but I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I'm gonna go with Dalton Varsho. He will get the at bats for sure. And hopefully this is the week that Springer decides that he's going to pick it up. But God, based on the at-bats,
bad, man.
Based on the at-bats, I don't know.
Worst shade could be Schneider. I don't think we can categorize that.
That'd be pretty
That'd
cool,
be funny
though,
as
right?
hell.
That'd be a very subjective one. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in on this Sunday evening to watch the Blue Jays Today show. Comment down below your thoughts about all of it. Also, I posted a poll in here. Could we get to 30 likes? We freaking smashed it. So all of the MVPs in here, thank you so much for liking the stream. Guys, we will be live again next Sunday for this Blue Jays Today show and during the week as well. I think looking at that schedule, Tuesday, makes the most sense. We still need to lock that in on
Yeah,
our low end,
yeah.
but keep in mind, probably Tuesday night for a fun live stream watch along with those Chicago White Sox.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching, and as always, guys,
Go Jays,
go! Let's freaking get it! Let's freaking get it, guys! Let's go!